Mavericks on the, you say move. Mavericks on the move. Mavericks on the move. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching at home, welcome to Mavericks on the Move. I am the creator and your host of Mavericks on the Move, Jamilah Corbitt. And this is 2019. This is our first event of the year, and I am super excited to pour into you, each and every one of you. Today we are all about transformation. How can we transform personally and professionally? Thankfully, we have two experts today. One expert is a certified life coach. The next expert is a certified personal trainer. So we want to tackle how can we transform from the inside out, because it first starts in here and in here before we can have the transformation manifest out here. So without further ado, my first guest is a transformation expert. I had the pleasure of meeting this young lady last year in 2018. Her energy just radiated, and she has such a powerful message. Please welcome to the stage, Sherry Samuels. The beginning of the year is so tough in terms of you got the holidays, you have people in debt, credit cards, and then you have people with the new year, new me mentality, right? I'm sure you hear that all the time.
Yeah.
But before we dig deep into that mentality, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a certified life coach.
So I actually was living in Atlanta, and I was working at a job that I loved, but it was taking a lot out of me. And I decided I needed to make a change. It was really time to make a change, and I started working with a life coach myself. And while we were working together, she suggested that I go through a certification program. And I was kind of reluctant because I was like, I've been helping people a lot, and I wasn't sure that that was something that I wanted to go into, but it was really an opportunity for me to learn a lot about myself and how to really support people in a way that creates the transformation that they want.
And what is transformation? Because a lot of people confuse transformation and change.
So transformation, it's like what you were saying, it's all about from the inside out. And it's about really connecting to what is on the inside and what your voice says to you, what your inner voice says to you about how you want to live and how you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. It's really about being.
About being. We are human beings, so just being present in the moment. And like we touched on before, everyone has this new year, new me mentality. How many of you guys out there have the new year, new me mentality? A couple people in the audience. And how many of you set New Year's resolutions? A couple of people. Now we're approaching the time where people kind of fall off with their New Year's resolutions. So how can we make those New Year's resolutions stick? And what's the mindset behind creating New Year's resolutions?
So with New Year's resolutions, it's really about people thinking about all of the things that they should do. And when someone that I know would always say, you have to be careful of the shoulds and make sure that you're not shoulding on yourself. And you get to this place where you're like, oh, I should lose weight, I should eat better, I should do all of these different things. But if they don't really speak to who you are and where you are, then you can't really get to the place of holding on to them and really making it something, a lifestyle, and not just something that you're going to do for a few minutes.
Does this speak to anyone out here? Yes, yes, a few people. And I know for myself, I don't make New Year's resolutions because I think life is a marathon and not a sprint. I do set goals for myself and I set benchmarks, but not necessarily at the end of the year. I don't say, hey, I'm just new year, new me, because I know that transformation takes time. And there are actually some folks out there who are stuck in the job that they hate, or they're not losing weight, they don't have the relationship that they want, but it pays the bills, or they're in the relationship and it's very toxic because it's comfortable, but maybe they have a burning desire to start a business or want better for themselves. So how would that person break free from those situations and have the courage to do what they're passionate about?
So it's really about connecting again to the why. And like, why are you in this situation that you don't enjoy? And is there, if it's a job, is there something in that job that brings you joy? Is there something in that job that makes you happy? And if not, what is it that you can do outside of that job that can bring you some joy? So you know, I have to be here from 9 to 5, but when I go home, I'm working on that passion project. When I go home, I'm doing those things that I need to do in order to get to where I really want to be. And when it comes to relationships, it's really connecting to that place of, why am I staying with this person? And is this really feeding who I want to be in this world? And if it's not, sometimes we really just have to make the tough decisions and say, all right, I gotta cut you loose.
But that's hard.
It's hard. And what I like to tell my clients is it's not about it being hard, it's a challenge. When we think about something as a challenge, we're more apt to go for it. So if you think about climbing the mountain, it's challenging. If you think about it as being hard, I don't wanna do it. I'm gonna sit back and eat my chips.
Yeah. Which some of you are doing, probably watching this on YouTube. You're sitting back eating chips in your underwear, aren't you? So, there are a lot of folks out there, and I know that I've been in a position where I look at social media and I'm like, man, why am I not where they are? And I compare myself to someone else that I see online. Does anyone else do that? Let's be totally honest here. Yes, I know. Even if you don't want to admit it, I know we've done it. We look at that person like, why they get it? I feel like I'm more talented than that person. And it's this compare fair that we have, especially as entrepreneurs. We think we should be somewhere else, but we're right here. And how can we shift that focus from out there to in here and focus on ourselves and not worry about what's happening on the outside?
So it's really about, what I tell people is to stay in your lane. And it's not about staying in your lane in a comfort zone, but staying in your lane and knowing who you are, where you are, and what you want to do for your life. Not focusing on what Jamilah is doing, what Susie is doing, what anybody else is doing, because if you try to get into their lane, you're out of place and you're not going to get to where you're supposed to be. Or you'll get there, but you're going and taking a detour that you didn't really have to take because you've just started doing something that you weren't meant to do.
Ooh, that's deep. That's really deep. I had to pause and think about that one. But I really think, Cher, I really think the discomfort comes from, and I know this is for me, the discomfort is where I see myself versus where I really am. So this gap right here is the discomfort. So how can we appreciate where we are on our journey and just be present in the moment?
So it's really about taking time to see where you are right now. So I can look at myself and say, you know what, today I'm in a whole different place than I was 6 months ago. There was plenty of stuff going on, and people will look and say, oh, well, she's a life coach, so she's okay, and all of these things. But we all go through stuff, and recognizing that we all go through stuff, and sometimes we just have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and see how you've changed, how you've shifted, and look at the strides that you have made. Look at where you're coming from. What are those things that you overcame to get to where you are, and how can you keep moving forward?
So basically you're telling me that I need to compete with myself.
Yes. You are your only competition.
I am, but it's really hard not to compete with other people because I'm very competitive.
Yes.
Very competitive. So, and I've tried that mindset to just shift and think about me. I'm just trying to be better than I was yesterday.
Yes. And if you're competing with yourself, it's like, oh, look at what I'm doing now. Oh, look in the mirror. Hey, girl, I'm moving forward.
That's true. And what about the people who have the great job? They have the family at home. They did everything that they were supposed to do, but they're still not happy. They still feel like something is missing. What would you tell that person?
So again, it goes back to your why and really understanding why you're not happy and what really makes you happy. And what I like to tell people is to focus less on happiness and what is your joy place, because joy is abiding. It's staying with you no matter what.
But some people will say, I'm sorry to
go ahead.
But some people will say joy doesn't pay the bills.
Joy does not pay the bills. Are you sure?
Ooh. Maybe it does. How do we will have to monetize our joy, right?
Exactly. And it's really, when you have joy, you are able to go into that job that you don't necessarily love and still do your best and go home and work on your side gig. When you have joy, you're like, you know what? This isn't where I want to be right now, but I know where I'm going. I know what this feels like. You want to stay connected to that space.
Okay, I like that. So what are some actionable tips we can implement to achieve consistent growth for the rest of 2019?
So I think it's really important. You touched on how we're so inundated with social media. It's really important to take time away from social media. I think that's huge in this day and age. If it's just 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a week, like take some time and really get to a place where you can be connected to yourself. Maybe you're reading, maybe you're listening to some really good music. One thing that I like to tell people, and write love letters to yourself. Really get to that place where you're like loving on yourself so good that you become super focused on staying in your lane and doing the things that you want to do. And get an accountability partner.
One of the things I want to share with the audience, one of the things that I did a couple of years ago, and I need to do it for this year as well, is I have this thing called a happy jar.
No.
And every time something great happens to me, it could be very small, I would write it on a little piece of paper. It was one of those, one of those little jars,
Yep.
What do you call it?
Like a mason jar.
Yes, the mason jar. And I would write it on a little piece of paper and I will put it in the mason jar. And at the end of the year, I dumped the mason jar and read all of the awesome stuff that happened to me over the course of the year. And I was like, wow, I don't even remember this happening. And then I appreciated it so much more. I think I'm going to do that this year. I don't know why I haven't done it over the last 2 years, but I think that really helps with staying present in the moment.
Yep. And I think when you commit to doing something like that for yourself, and you're doing it for yourself, but tell someone that you know is there to support you, and they're going to remind you what's in that happiness jar. Have you remembered to put that in your happiness jar?
That's so cool. That's so cool. So where can people reach you?
So I am all over social media, for better or worse. So you can find me, my business is Chrysalid Transformations. So you can find me with Chrysalid Transformations, that's CHRYS _transform on Twitter. I'm the voice coach on Instagram and Chrysalid Transformations on Facebook. And my website is sherrysamuels.com.
Tell me the why behind your name, the name.
So the chrysalid is the butterfly, like where the butterfly is before they come out. And I believe that we all have our spaces of chrysalid. We go in and out of our chrysalids, but it's really about coming out of that chrysalid space and becoming your butterfly.
I love it. I love it. Let's give Sherry another round of applause. Now we're going to have a bit of Q&A. Do we have any questions specifically for yourself as it relates to Sherry's expertise?
What's the hardest part about being a coach?
The hardest part sometimes is when I want it more than my clients do. Like if I have a client who is just, they want it, but I'm in that place of, I can see it for them. So any client that comes to me, if I can't see where they're going from where they are, then that's not my client. But when I can see it and they're struggling to get there, that's the challenging part for me, and really finding ways to get creative and to stay curious about how to get them to where they need to be.
When we come back, our next guest is going to help you achieve peak performance through fitness. Stay tuned, you're going to want to see this. I've known this next guest for a few years. He's a certified personal trainer and fitness consultant. Please help me welcome to the stage, Toby Levan. Hey, Toby.
How you doing, Jamilah?
I'm doing well. Before we get started, we talked about the mental mindset, how to achieve your personal goals in 2019. But now we're going to get to the physical, because everybody wants to look good naked. Everybody wants to look good at their next event. But before we get into that, I want you to tell us more about you.
Okay. Well, where to start? I have been in this lifestyle since the age of about 19 or 20. This was sudden to me. I'm a skinny city kid. I'm from Philly, so I like cheesesteaks, and I like to eat. So my doctor gave me some very not so good news. She diagnosed me with, I was pre-diabetic at the age of 19.
Wow.
Yes, which is odd because it's kind of hard to get to that state at such an early age. But she said you got two choices. You can either continue on the path you're on, or you can change your lifestyle. And she told me what I needed to do. And that day, I left the doctor's office and had a moment. Had definitely had a, an eye-opening moment. And I had a decision to make. Did I want to keep, eating dirty, as people say, or have a bad diet and do whatever, or change my lifestyle and eat better and exercise. So I made that decision. It was not easy. It was hard for the first 3 or 4 years.
Years. Not months. Years.
Yes. It's hard for the first years. In general, it takes your body about 30 to 60 days to transition into a new routine. So exercise is no different. It's tougher because mentally it's a struggle. You struggle with foods you want to eat, things you want to do, and then you struggle with, okay, the gym, do I really want to see the gym today? No. So that's the kind of struggle, I had as a young, teenager. So I made a big sacrifice back then.
Can we be honest in the audience? How many of you struggle with fitness? We have a few people. And I know we're still in the new year, newly phase. We see an uptick in gym memberships every single end of the year, beginning of the year. But around this time is when people are like, well, life gets in the way. I have a bunch of kids. I have work. I don't have time. So give us a few tips on how to maintain our motivation for fitness and wellness as a whole.
First tip I would say is you have to view fitness like work. We get up every day, we go to work, it's a part of our everyday routine. That's what helped me be successful. I would say on my fitness journey thus far, it's in my schedule at least 3 to 4 days a week now. I make sure I work out, whether it's home, at the gym, outside. I make sure I get some form of exercise in. Tip number 2, I would say, is I have a slogan I tell my clients. It's 3 words they can never tell me. They can't tell me can't, don't, and won't. Okay? I say those 3 because if you say you can't do something, you're disabling your mind. I say if you don't do something, then you're being lazy. And then if you say you won't do something, it's like you've given up. So I don't let my clients use those words around me. If they do, further exercise is pending. Further torture is pending. So, just changing that mindset, I would say, and making sure it's implemented in your daily routine. And
you actually call it torture, though.
Yes, I do. I do. I call it torture because in the beginning, it's torture. I tell all my clients or people that meet me in the beginning, when you first start exercising, it's a love-hate relationship. You hate me in the beginning, you love me in the end, because all the torture I put you through, all the ab work you do, all the stuff I tell you can't eat, all the stuff, I just got a knack to know when you at a fast food spot, I'd be like, what'd you eat today? And clients be like, how you know this stuff? Don't worry about it. That's a gift, okay? So it is actually, it's a grind. It's like a job. That's what it is. Fitness and taking care of your body is like a job. And without your body, you can't go to work. So I tell people, you really, really got to take care of your body.
And you touch on a good point, because I know some of us, we're busy entrepreneurs or busy business professionals, and sometimes we just want to grab a quick burger or a quick bite to eat, or we don't eat in the kitchen. We eat out at a restaurant somewhere, maybe a lunch meeting or something. But what we're putting in our bodies is very important, and it affects our productivity or lack thereof. So can you share some ideas on how we can fuel our bodies a bit better?
I would say always go by, I call it the big three. You got to eat 3 meals a day, minimum. You have to.
Serious 3? I think I eat 2.5.
Then that don't count today. That don't count today.
But that's why I'm skinny.
I say 3 because breakfast is the most important. So I know a lot of people in the world who skip breakfast and they think they're better off for it, but you're not. I promise you. You ever wonder why you're more sluggish throughout the week, or you just like it's hard to do what you have to do, and that's because you don't have the fuel. And breakfast is that first meal that gives you that, okay? So you gotta eat breakfast. Lunch is the second meal of the day that keeps you going. People, midday, they get a little tired, they like, all right, I'm ready to go home. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon for me. I'm like, all right, what's next? So lunch is definitely an important part because it helps keep you going. And dinner, that's, your lightest meal of the day. It's something light just to, hold you over.
Heaviest.
For the people who it's your heaviest, that should not be, because it's the end of the day. You have less chance, your body has less of a chance to break down the food that you eat.
Not mine.
That's why dinner should be a smaller meal, or not as heavy, I would say. So
what do you think about, I think I do this on accident, but intermittent fasting, because I won't eat basically all day. I'll eat something light for breakfast, and then I won't eat lunch, and then I'll eat something for dinner, and that'll be my biggest meal of the day, and maybe some snacks in between. What do you feel about that? Does that work at all, or should I change to 3 squares? Anyone here eat 3 squares a day? A couple people. All 2 people in the audience.
Okay, so intermittent fasting. Thank you. Great question. I would like to say I have tried it myself, and it does work, but for a limited period of time. Okay, just like with some other trends that we have out here. We got intermittent fasting, we have the keto, we have everything works in a short amount of time, okay? So keep this in mind. I hear people who say they've been on it for years, and I'll be like, you just don't understand what you're doing to your body, because you're putting a strain on your body, okay? Let me explain how hard it is to maintain these diets, okay? So with your intermittent fasting, okay, you have periods of 16 hours of no eating, 8 hours of eating. I currently am doing 10 hours of eating, 14 hours of no eating. So my last meal was at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I cannot eat again until 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay? That's a long time not to eat. All you can drink is water or tea or, juice. And people don't realize, but mentally, it takes a toll on you because you want to eat. Like, your body is engineered to eat food. That's what we do. But when you can, it's like, okay, what am I gonna do? You get, I call it hangry. You get hungry, angry, okay? You're not the same person, okay? So a lot of people don't take these things into account when they start these different diets or fasting, okay? But it can be done. I recommend it for no longer than a 6-month period, I would say, if you think mentally you can handle it.
Oh, I can handle it. But like I said, I do it on accident. Do you recommend any specific type of vitamins we should take to improve our productivity or maybe our memory? I know every morning I do fish oil, and sometimes I've been trying to find, you guys ever seen that movie, what is it called, Limitless? And he takes that NZT. I've been trying to find not a drug, but I've been trying to find, let me change my wording, I've been trying to find a vitamin like NZT. Is there something that exists like that so I can take it?
Okay, on the record, no. Off the record, talk to me, not on camera. But I would say yes, fish oil is one of the best things to take.
And ginkgo biloba.
Yes.
I take that.
That also helps. Green tea or green tea supplement. All these things keep your mind sharp and keep your tummy slim. Okay. Also, most multivitamins are good. You need a multivitamin just because you're not getting all the vitamins and minerals from foods. So a multivitamin is good. And I would say certain Spices you can add to like shakes or drinks. I put turmeric in my protein. Okay, so and that's good for like joints and stuff. Like there's all different kinds of spices and herbs you can put in your drinks or in your food to help you, you know, get all your vitamins and minerals.
Thank you. And you've given us some great tips so far, but how do we know it's time to hire somebody like you?
It is time to hire somebody like me when, okay? The mirror is false advertisement, okay? Let me repeat that again. The mirror is false advertisement because it's not really who you are, okay? You're not competing with the person you see in the mirror. It's more so you're competing with your past, because everyone, as they get older, your body changes. Every year your body changes. And you know, it's a difference from being 23 and a flat stomach to 33 and the drinks kicked in or the food kicked in, or you know, so that's who you're really fighting with. And I tell people, you can't go back in time, you can't change what you did, but what you can do is, you know, you can make the best of your current day, and you have to take it a day at a time. You know, people try to rush the process. There's no quick fixes. You can't take a magic pill. I apologize if I create it. I'll let you know. But it's not easy. It takes time and dedication and just a lot of hard work.
So basically you're saying we have to put in the work consistently. I think that's been the theme, like a little bit every single day, whether it's mentally or physically. All of it ties in together, right?
Yes, all of it ties in together. And you know, trainers, there's so many different trainers in the world, and lots of great ones. And I tell people, every trainer is not going to be for you. You have to find the trainer that fits well with you and your personality and how you are. This is how I train my clients. How we're sitting on this couch, I talk to them, and they be like, "You never raise your voice? You never like drill sergeant?" I'm like, "No. But you're gonna give me 5 more, because that's what we gotta do." And you know, it's a certain presence trainers have to themselves, and you'll know when you meet a trainer how they are, if you know you're compatible with them, if you like how they train. These are all things, you know, you want to know.
All right, thank you so much. Now, how can people reach you?
I am on most social media platforms. I'm on IG, MacGetFit85. Facebook, Mac Fitness, and Twitter, MacGetFit85 as well.
All right, let's give Toby another round of applause. Do we have any questions specifically for Toby as it relates to fitness?
Toby, I had the pleasure of meeting you before this, and you said that you were thin, but yet pre-diabetic. So I'd love for you to tell a little bit about, because people think they're thin and they're healthy, which you went through. And number 2, can you tell us about the importance of nutrition versus working out? I know they're both important, but where would you weigh the most, you know, what would be the best or the most important, the nutrition piece, fitness piece, like in a ratio form?
Okay, so I'll break down the 2 questions. I'll take the second one first. It's definitely 80-20. I say more like 90-10 or 85-15. Nutrition is the single most important. If you can't exercise, you know, say you can't exercise for a couple months because of an accident. Long as your nutrition is like tight and you're eating clean and you know you're just not putting anything in your body, you will maintain all of the muscle and definition that you have from working out. But if you like change your diet and you start eating a whole lot of cheeseburgers and fries and fried rice and just all stuff that's toxic for your body, it shows and your muscles let you know. And the second part, yes, just because a person is slim does not mean they're super healthy. I'll give you a good example. You can be a slim person, say you weigh 130, 140, but have a body fat percentage of like 26. Now that's high for a slim person compared to someone who's 170, 180 and their body fat is like 18, 17. So it's not necessarily the size, I would say. It's more so, it's just how you eat and how you take care of your body. And with all the different diseases in the world. I'm a firm believer, a lot of them are preventable with good exercise and good dieting.
So my question is, Jamilah had mentioned about busy professionals, entrepreneurs, just barely eating or just grabbing a burger or something in our travels and stuff. What are some recommendations that you can give us as far as fast food and things where we're on the go? So we have to eat, as you said. So if we're just going to go and pick up something, what would you recommend from like McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Panera, something along those lines?
All right, all the popular fast food chains in the world. Okay, great question. No, great question. I actually, if I have to get something to eat from a fast food chain, French fries are not your only option. Okay.
They're so delicious.
They are always delicious, but they're not always healthy. Okay. All places have salads. Most fast food restaurants have salads. Some fast food restaurants have other options like Panera. Chick-fil-A has other options. But instead of getting just a regular sandwich, like a regular hamburger or cheeseburger, you can get it without the bun. Okay, you can always eat foods minus something. So when I go out to eat also, I usually get like a restaurant, if I'm in the mood for a turkey burger, I get it with lettuce. So I get a sandwich on lettuce, which cuts all the calories in half, because the turkey burger itself is not that many calories, but the bread itself and how they sauce it up and they make it smell good with the butter and the fixings.
You licked your lips like, about that
yeah. But you know, you can always substitute things. Okay, so just because you're on the go doesn't mean you got to sacrifice how to eat. You know how you eat. And I've been doing this for a while. Like I said, a lot of places have a lot of options. Starbucks, they got a turkey, egg, and cheese in the morning. They got some other alternatives. And it's just research. It's just when you go up to the drive-thru or when you go inside a restaurant, ask them, okay, you look at that menu and you don't see any options. You're like, okay, you call the waitress over or the waiter. What vegetarian options do you have? And then they'll tell you what other options they'll have, okay? So never be deterred and finding, healthier options. They're always out there. It's tough because you're gonna want them French fries. You're gonna want that soda also. When you get drinks, unsweetened drinks are best if you can. No soda or water.
Another round of applause for Toby. When we return, we'll hear from business owners in the audience. Stay tuned. Coming to the stage is Henrietta from Hot Creations. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hello everyone, my name is Henrietta Ott and I'm the owner of Hot Creations. We are a Baltimore and family-owned based company. We've been in business since 2007. We specialize in event decorations, decor, and as you see here, we do custom-made items for any type of occasion. You can find us on The Knot, Wedding Wire, a Thumbtack. We're also on Instagram under Hot Creation, and we're also on Facebook.
Coming to the stage next is Natascha and Rick with Wealth Through Wellness. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hi, we're Wealth Through Wellness, Rick and Tasha. We help people live in a better body and out of a bigger bank account. We show people amazing, clean, non-compromised nutritional solutions, but most of all, we're so passionate to help people grow their bank account and show them a better way through not selling, but through investing in their health and their wealth.
Coming to the stage next is Jasmine with Mars Management and Consulting Enterprise. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hi guys, I hope you guys are feeling amazing tonight. My name is Jasmine C Green and I am the CEO and founder of Mars Enterprise. So we say Mars Management and Consulting Enterprise simply because we consult models. We basically created a platform that is for diverse models that allows models to reach high-end retailers and promote diversity and inclusion in the fashion industry. I've been modeling for 14 years. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and that's all I got for you tonight.
And that is today's show. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share this out. Remember, each one teach one, each one reach one. I'll see you next time. All right, are we ready to get started? Okay, hold on. No, we're not. No, we're not. When we come back, our next guest is gonna help you chief.
I enjoyed Mavericks On The Move. Jamilah was awesome. She put on a great show.
Mavericks On The Move had a great time tonight. Jamilah is top notch. She's awesome. Come out next month and see her.